phase of draft. As we've mentioned earlier on, I will be expecting to see a lot of Rhyme, if not Black Feather, banned out as well. But they can't just leave it open if they do want to pick it. Coming out from the side of RNG, they have been banning out those Lyra, Lance, and even Rhyme if they see the need to. But BREN Esports, they are kind of new, right, in 2.9.1. They haven't quite shown a lot of what they've got coming into this patch and coming into the current split as well. So it is quite foreign as to what. But I'm not expecting anything far from the meta bans. The side of Renegades definitely taking the time at this point in time, but Lyra and Lance will probably be priority, but we will be seeing the Black Feather being banned out 30 seconds into bonus time.
Yeah, don't want to first pick Black Feather for Renegades, so they're going to ban it away from BREN Esports. Makes a lot of sense. They probably want to prioritise Arden as a first pick. We've seen that so much in Southeast Asia. I think that will be picked up by them if it's let through. And I think the Rhyme most likely going to be banned by BREN Esports. Unless they want to have something to try and counter it, they're going to ban it away. But no, they're going to leave both open. So ban the Vox. Black Feather is one of the main counters to Vox in this patch. Previously it was Idris. Now with Idris getting nerfed, it's become Black Feather. So I think this first pick, a couple of options, as I said, Arden or Rhyme. They also could pick Crawl. That would be much more risky, but they definitely could work.
Yep, Arden or Rhyme is still on the table. Very, very open. Arden would be one of those heroes that is very flexible for a lot of team comps. Not a flex pick, but a very flexible heroes for team comp. And not a surprise at all. RNG just settling for that Arden for themselves. As for the side of BREN Esports, you mentioned Rhyme is still open. Rhyme does decently well against good frontliners like that of Arden, like that of Lance. Only reason because he can just stack so much fortified health onto these captains. But we will see once again a Petal coming through, and I sound very, very surprised, but he has been in BREN Esports kit to constantly just pick up Petal.
Yeah, BREN Esports going once again for that weapon Petal. Most likely they could flex that into the jungle if Renegades decide to go for a Crawl or a Rhyme. So that's a nice flex pick for them. But as I said, most likely to be in the lane. Weapon Petal didn't get any changes, so still just as strong as before. But they don't want to go Crystal Petal against Rhyme, so they're going to ban Rhyme. That makes a lot of sense. They couldn't pick it themselves, and he's such a strong hero. It's hard to counter Rhyme. Crystal Petal can do quite well, but they don't want to try it. So now what Renegades have got is they've got a couple of captains they could try and ban. Maybe they want to try and ban something like Kestrel, but no, they're going to ban Alpha. So they don't want the Petal Alpha first couple of picks. I think that would be a really risky pick, because if they went for Petal Alpha straight away, you're giving away your carries, and so Renegades could have picked it themselves, but perhaps they don't want to. Now, Lyra, the most likely pick, but Grace also is an option. Lots of captains that BREN Esports could go for.
Yep, if not, then Lance as well. Mr. Jim has, or rather Guessing Axe, very, very good on those Lance. Very on point with those impales and even the Geatian walls as well. Very good playing captain, or rather, making captain that can make plays, but they will settle and go for the Catherine. I'm not surprised this time RNG will actually go for Adagio. They've been known to play Adagio against Petal, whether weapon or crystal, and Adagio, the range is just so very long, but they will go for that Saw. And this is something that I really wanted to see, and I've been saying that since last week, so I'm gleaming right now, and I'm just really happy that this Saw is being picked up by the side of RNG.
I said I wanted to see a Saw yesterday, and we're seeing it today. Most likely going to be put against that Petal. And a Reza! I think Renegades have just listened to play, and they're just going to play all of it. They're going to play Saw, they're going to play Reza. That Petal is going to get deleted off the face of the map. There is no protection for the Petal. There's only CC, which if a Crucible comes through or Reflex blocks come through, then Catherine's CC becomes useless, and Petal is going to get blown up. So as Weapon Petal in lane, that is going to be so tough. You've got Saw pressuring you early game. Reza with that Aftershock proc, if he builds an Aftershock, and an Aftershock proc if he just uses his B. And they're going to last pick Celeste. That's a risky pick against Reza. Reza's great at diving in. Reza's great at executing a target, especially a squishy one. So what BREN Esports have got to do is, if the game gets late game, if they can survive from Renegade's onslaught that is going to happen early on, then they have a chance.
I'm so happy with that Saw and Reza pickup coming through from Renegades. Saw, very, very strong in the early game. As you've mentioned, the first turret's held 3,000, dropped down to 2,000. A good time for Saw to be in the matter, to be completely honest. Can just easily push down the first turret. And you have Reza, as long as you don't go for that Storm Crown, it's not quite needed anymore. Rush it Aftershock and put as much pressure onto this Celeste as possible. You can definitely trump this early game going into late game. And as with the Celeste pickup coming up from the side of BREN Esports, I'm very, very unsure right now. I'm basically sitting at the seesaw, which, I'm at the center, right? Because Celeste, not a lot of builds have come up for her that is quite matter quality just yet, and she really needs a lot of crystal items this time round to put out very equal damage as compared to, say, a Reza with just one Aftershock into a Dragon's Eye or a Broken Myth, or as compared to a Saw. Yes, you have got a lot of stuns, you have got a lot of CCs coming out from the side of BREN Esports, but it's whether or not you can lock the Reza down. Crucibles can be picked up on Saw. That is quite the go-to pickup for a lot of Saws out there in the past. So what do you think? I mean, whose draft do you think has got the upper hand throughout the game? Don't just talk about one section of the game, but throughout the game.
Well, throughout the game, it literally changes completely. The draft is so much in favour of BREN Esports late game and in favour of Renegades early game. And so I suppose in the middle of the game, the draft is pretty even. In terms of how the compositions work together, well, Catherine doesn't work that well with Petal and Celeste, because Catherine's an engager. Celeste and Petal, when Petal's weapon, are really backline, trying to poke and trying to keep their distance. So Catherine doesn't work that well with them. Arden works with everyone, as you said, really flexible for what kind of composition he can work with. This comp is very aggressive. Reza's going to jump in, Arden can protect him with that. Saw, if he's allowed to, and if he can stay within range, will kill pretty much anyone that gets close, even if Saw's lower on health when the fight starts. So I think I like what Renegades have done, mainly because I wanted to see a Saw. We've seen it. Wanted to see a Reza. We've seen it. They've gone for both those heroes. But I think if it does scale to late game, if Saw decides that he cannot push those turrets down, Celeste comes up to lane, stops the turrets being pushed early, then it should be in favour of BREN Esports.
Yep, it should be favour of BREN Esports if Renegades cannot push the early game. But we've seen how Renegades play before. They really like the early game aggression, and with their team comp, they will be able to do it. Whereas for the side of BREN Esports, right, these two teams, they are very, very different in terms of how they play. BREN Esports, they like to turtle up. They do not like to go aggressive in the early game because of this pattern. They can be aggressive in terms of early game maneuver into the Elder Treant. Once they fight over it, generally you'll see BREN Esports just turtling up, just farming, staying safe, and they can just come up in the late game, force team fights after team fights, and can easily take you down. Whereas RNG, if you want to play passive, you are playing into the win conditions of Renegades. Renegades, they can put on so much pressure in that of lane, and as with jungle as well. So I'm quite excited to see how this game will turn out and how Saw will be able to just push objectives after objectives. In the late game, however, I must agree with you. Saw just lacks movement speed. Unless, of course, you have the epic talent, speedy spin up. You can, max spin up, and then you can just walk really, really quickly. Maybe it'll work for you. But coming to this game, it will be difficult to just play around the Saw and your Reza, who likes to be in the midst, in the far end, trying to take down Celeste, if not then Petal.
Yeah, I think the talents have been disabled. We'll have to wait and see if Saw decides to pick that one up. But thank you for that analysis, Luxuria. We are now loading into the house to unfold for the first game between these two teams. And casting this game alongside me, it will be iRequestedJewel.
Hello, and thanks to Luxuria and yourself for going through that draft in a very interesting one at that. I mean, the Saw pickup coming out for the side of Renegades, definitely a bit of a surprise there, but also that pickup onto Reza, I'm sure you'll be quite happy with.
Yeah, definitely. I think this draft is something different to what we've always seen. The Reza, I've always said he's really good. He's been seen in other regions. Tons SEA have not decided to play him that much. But this game, he's going to dive in onto the Petal. And what do you think, iRequestedJewel? Do you think we're going to see the Reza Saw? Is it going to work out well? Or will the more meta of Weapon Petal and Celeste come through for BREN Esports?
Well, I think it's going to be in neither team's favor because they've got different I guess, power spikes overall. If you look at RNG with the early game and then the side of BREN with the late game, that's how it could be seen. Unless RNG are just able to snowball the early game, then they might be able to take it through into the mid and just finish out off the back of the first Kraken.
Yeah, I think really the first Kraken is Renegade's breaking point. They have to try and win with it or just after it, because otherwise they will be in a tough position. BREN Esports starting up with Zelda.
Yep, and it looks like they're going to go in. Chingy trying to be aggressive, but they're not going to follow through with anything. So after that, they're just going to let the side of BREN Esports go back to base, pick up some extra items to help them out. And they're going to need, as we see Uni already up in this lane, going to be working on pushing down that turret. And as Luxuria said in the draft, it's a lot easier for Saw in the current meta to push down that initial first turret. So it's not a bad pick at all. And personally, I've seen it a lot in solo queue for SEA. And I just wasn't expecting it in the pro scenes because I figured it could be countered easily. However, the comp, they've done a good job by picking up that Celeste on the side of BREN Esports, knowing that when Celeste can get to level 8, they'll be able to outrange Vavsaur. And I've actually played Celeste into a Saw pick before, and I don't think that's bad at all. However, this Petal is going to have quite a bit of trouble. The Munion's always going to be going down straight away to this Saw, and other than that, if Pel tries to jump anywhere near them, it's going to get taken out. But right now, there's a fight going down in the jungle, as Arden going to pick up the kill alongside Chingy on that Reza onto that of Sync 1 on the Celeste, and guessing soon to follow. So a double kill going over early to the side of RNG, just going to help them that much more in the early game.
Yeah, Reza gets the credit for one, and Arden gets the other. Push Reza to Aftershock, and Arden to in. And Mr. Jim has been jumping around an awful lot, trying to get that increased range from his trampoline, but it's really tough for Mr. Jim. He's actually got 2 points in his A ability in the Bramblethorn Seeds as opposed to 2 in the trampoline. I'd expect that for the overdriven range that he goes from trampoline, because if he can outrange Saw, as you said, that's what Celeste tries to do. If Petal can do the same, that'll work out really well. But Saw going to push the turret, but not going to get anything from it, so he's going to go back to shop and probably go towards the Sorrow Blade as opposed to a Serpent's Mask first. It does look like he might be going Serpent's Mask, but I think Sorrow Blade does a lot more work in this patch. Minion Candy will be kind of useless. Stun out of the Suppressing Fire from Saw means he does lose all his stacks, so smart play from the Guessing X, making Saw lose a minion. Yeah, that Minion Candy kind of useless. Uni's still going to clear this wave remarkably quickly. But no, he misses 2 CS on the turret. So well played from Mr. Jim, using that Minion Candy to put him slightly ahead on CS. But once again, Uni going to push this wave up. Petal did port home, and Guessing X, he's going to come back. Uni either going to go on the turret or try and poke out the members of BREN Esports. Doesn't look like they want to fight, and Uni, great stuff from Catherine in the fight.
Everyone on BREN Esports trying to go in, but Uni just kiting it out, taking down the Celeste. Will fall to Mr. Jim on that Petal. However, you can see if a core collapse had landed, maybe they would have had the man advantage there and Celeste wouldn't have fallen. But Uni doing a good job there with the stutter stepping, I should say, on that Saw, which helps out a lot, just a lot more than, of course, you could play Saw. He gets the ramped up attack speed when his gun's fully spun up, but really the key to being a good Saw player is the stutter steps there to just make it that much more effective, and constantly trying to be putting aggression onto this turret. I like the Arden pickup for the side of RNG. It does keep Saw safe most of the time with that Vanguard. However, I'm not too sure about the Reza in the jungle. I would have liked to see a jungler with maybe some form of CC able to go up into lane and help Saw just lock down those kills.
Yeah, I think Reza's more about just bursting down this Petal, trying to secure her. One stun on Uni, 2 stuns.
Yep, it gets caught out on that core collapse, this time working out for the side of BREN Esports. So you talked about in the draft as well that Petal would have a bit of a problem because, we'll see Chingy going on, but Reza uses the Neverform Detonator, and Mr. Jim going low isn't going to fall. However, Chingy might be the one to fall, and he's going to turn it around onto Sync 1. Wow, the damage on this Reza with the Aftershock, and I'm starting to like Reza myself as well now.
Yeah, Reza going towards the jungle. He gets the root on to Guessing X. He's going to run away, and this turret's going to go down. Saw's pushing it. Petal's nowhere near. Yeah, turret's gone. One thing Shingy did was try to get a basic attack onto Mr. Jim when he had Aftershock put ready, but basic attacked a minion by accident, so Mr. Jim survived just barely. And I really like the Reza just because this is how strong he is. You're seeing Reza just come through with that Aftershock. Miss Sync 1 got bursted down from like a quarter health to just nothing immediately. One basic attack with that Aftershock proc and the Troublemaker bonus damage. It's just too much. And Tier 1 tower goes down, Uni probably going to try and push a bit more. But as you saw earlier on, if he gets CC chained, he's gone. No block yet for him. He's picked up a Soul Blade and Infusion. But if he doesn't block the first stun and then run away from the second, maybe use his boots to try and run around it. As you said, his stuff stepping is so important on Saw, not to get extra attacks because it really doesn't do that much for you, but all about getting positioning, trying to kite around, dodge as much as you can from Celeste and see what's going to happen.
Yep, and there's the Vanguard onto Uni. He is standing near that Heliogenesis, but Chingy just going to go in deep onto the backline, gets so much damage down with the Never Form down there, and picks up the double, or not quite the double, one of those kills going over to Uni, but Guessing the only one left remaining, and they're going to get an early second turret because of it. Usually we see in normal games, teams gain the first turret around the 7-minute mark, and here we see RNG already getting the second turret and a sentry at 6 minutes 40 in.
Yeah, that's the thing with the Saw. If you manage to get a slight advantage, turret's gone. If Saw's in lane, you take a fight, you get a single kill, turret is just going to be dead. Because if they try and fight Saw, he can turn on them, do a lot of damage, maybe fall himself, but then Reza will be able to pick up the ace. The Saw's going to burst them down to almost nothing, Reza's going to burst them down to nothing. Now Uni could be in trouble. A nice roadie run, going to get away. And he's going to try and clear this wave. And whoops, the wave's just gone. So Uni does get that wave cleared. Now Renegade unable to do anything because they've taken 2 turrets already. So I think Saw will probably just either try and keep this lane from going into his turret, or maybe go to Reza's back. But no, he's going to stay here, make sure that Petal doesn't push the wave a bit too hard. Because Renegades need to win another fight before they get anything.
Yeah. They might go. I understand that maybe it is a bit risky to go for that gold mine, and you see Guessing just making sure they don't do that. Tessa Boy flaring out the Tri-Brush, sees that Guessing is there. I think for now the best play for the side of Renegades should be to keep this wave pushed up, and by doing so either open up an opportunity to rotate down to gold mine, or they have to kind of wait and force a team fight so they can then have a more safe opportunity to do so. But we'll just have to see. Here's Chingy now being able to take over that Tri-Bush with Guessing stepping out for a second. He is in the way and is forcing out that Merciless Pursuit, so the CC is down for a bit, but they're not going to engage off the back of that. And I do like what you said earlier when I said, well, I didn't know why RNG picked up a jungler without CC, and you said, well, it's because of the burst. And just within the last 2 team fights, and I'm not even sure if I could call them team fights at this point, because Chiggy on that Reza just puts so much damage down. And I see what you mean there. There's going to be Guessing going in with the Blast Tremor. The Gauntlet catches out Mr. Jim, and he's taken out instantly by the Saw and Chingy. Sync 1 now going to be the next target, being chased down, running back towards the Crystal Sentry. But Chingy on the pursuit with that Reza, just so... they should rename Chingy's abilities, just all of them now, to Merciless Pursuit, because that was just horrible for Sync 1, could not escape. And now the Crystal Sentry going to be the next target after that Anchor Turret. And we see that RNG just getting so much after every team fight.
Yeah, that's the benefit of a Saw comp, is some compositions are really good in team fights, but you can't get objectives from them. This comp is good in team fights early on, balls of late game, but if you get a slight lead, objectives have gone. As long as Saw gets that Vanguard to speed him towards wherever he needs to be, once he's there, tower's going to fall, center's going to fall, backs are going to fall. And Catherine now picking up the Atlas, I think, well, I said she should have got that earlier, but that's the second item. Guessing X has rushed Atlas after found him, but just been unable to get so. Look at Tezzaboy, already on 3 items, Guessing X only on 2. So this is a really nice gold lead for Renegades. They were ahead in items, massively ahead in terms of damage. You saw a great block on the Blast Tremor from Tezzaboy. That was useless from Guessing X, didn't accomplish anything. And then the Gauntlet stunning up Petal. Saw did get stunned up by Catherine's Merciless Pursuit anyway, but once he was out, Petal was just stuck between a Reza and a Saw, and he just went down. Sync 1 trying to get as much damage onto this tier 1 turret, but it's really nothing. Shingy is being so aggressive with his positioning because he can. I think Renegades start up the gold mine now, force a fight, because BREN Esports aren't going to fight you unless they have something to contest over. So yeah, Renegades start this up, and they don't care where BREN Esports are. They see them, they fight. If not, they'll roadie run and secure this gold mine with the dank shank.
Guessing gonna go in with the Merciless Pursuit. Solar Storm comes through, does not steal, however, to get body blocked, so good positioning there by the side of Renegades, like usual when taking those objectives, making sure if any global ults are present on the enemy team to be wary of that and position themselves correctly. Now we see a possible engage from the side of RNG, just pushing back the side of BREN Esports for now as Uni rotating back to that turret, going to clear it, and now they're focused back onto this lane. And at this point they can just kind of continue pushing up into the enemy jungle, might go towards that Crystal Sentry, which I believe they'd be able to eliminate if they make the rotation down. Otherwise, continuing to put down pressure on lane is not a bad idea at all, as we see Chingy going in with the Neverform Detonator, trying to find something off the back of it. Sync 1 fairly low on that backline, but not going to be able to catch them out this time, and Chingy very quickly low on energy there, only with the Aftershock and Dragon's Eye, so going to be using up a lot of that energy quite quickly. No real chance to regen it, so with that, RNG having to back out, but they're not going to go empty-handed as they eliminate the Sentry.
Yeah, very early Sentry elimination, 11.5 minutes in. Saw's picked up his Solar Blade double Tyrants. Petal's got Solar Blade double Tornado Trigger, so the carries are very easy. Tier 3 items. Saw with a block to try and block that Atlas coming up from Catherine. Petal without anything for the Gauntlet, which could be a bit of trouble given Catherine hasn't got a Crucible yet. So we're going to try and run away with that ready one. We're going to get a nice bit of damage to Sing 1, but Sing 1 going to get more onto Saw. But no, the team's just going to back off, waiting for Rez to come up, and now Renegades are looking to fight. BREN Esports are like, nah, we'll get a bit of damage and we'll just back off. Sing 1 going to poke, but Guessing X needs to get Crucible for this Gauntlet, because if Petal gets caught out, Rez is going to delete her regardless of having energy or not. As long as he gets enough for an A, then he'll be fine. Hezbollah though could be out of position. He's going to run away and have to boots to keep himself alive, so that's not up. He can afford War Treads. I think he wants to get Echo instead, so that boots won't be up for a little bit. And Uni is in a really good position. I don't know what Renegades are going to try and do here, because in order to push down those 2 Vein Crystal turrets, they basically need 2 aces in a row. You need to get an ace in order to push the wave towards the turret, and then get an ace at the turret in order to take it. So they really either have to keep their advantage and try and wait for Kraken, or find force fight around Goldmine, because Sentry isn't available, so they could just run towards the jungle and see what happens.
Well, I think the side of Renegades probably looking for more objectives here and just control, as you said, trying to hold on to it until Kraken's up. But we can see that BREN Esports doing a good job of keeping this lane pushed with Mr. Jim and Sync 1 both trying to go up there. There's good use of the Merciless Pursuit, stops Saw from getting those stacks, but no follow-up engage from BREN Esports. Instead, here comes out the engage from Renegades, as we see Neverform Detonator followed up by the Gauntlet, but can they get anything out of it? Chingy going fairly low, need to back out already, but we see Saw on the backline getting spun up, might be the chance here. Solar Storm comes out, there's going to be the core collapse, stuns up Uni and Tezaboy. Can BREN Esports turn it around? But the Saw just able to pick up the Petal, but Petal gets betrayed off there. Now Chingy and Tezaboy having to run. Sync 1 still has enough energy to fight, and definitely enough health in this situation. So they're going to try push for something, and I think this is really good for the side of BREN Esports, as they're starting to, I guess, slow down the advantage that Renegades had, and Renegades maybe even pushing it too quickly, because now they don't really have anywhere to go other than sitting up in that lane. And then whenever they try to rotate down to jungle, we see BREN Esports with very aggressive pushes up there.
Yeah, a couple of kills given over, a shutdown given away by Uni, but nothing lost for Renegades in that fight. No gold mine, no minions, no anything, no damage on the turret even, because Petal did go down. Uni decided he's had enough of backing off. He knew the stun was down for Catherine, so he just went in. And Renegades start up this goldmine. That's going to go down to Saw like instantly. Goldmine doesn't scale with health anymore. Health doesn't scale into late game anymore. Atlas onto the Petal. Saw's going to try and get this. He does get it with the shank. So, Atlas does land, and the BREN Esports want to fight.
Ooh, however, so now without any stacks, BREN Esports looking for that fight. There's going to be the gauntlet trapping them in there. And wow, Chiggy up the backline, taking down Sync 1 is able to do so. Still alive, able to get the pedal with the help of Saw. Saw already stacked up after BREN Esports not able to find the chance to jump onto him. And now Guessing, being the last one alive, is going to try do whatever they can to stop Saw from taking this Kraken. But really just going towards Saw is going to be a bit of a problem, as Guessing will get burnt down fairly quickly. Has vision on it, could go in with the blast tremor, but no, a bit too late. Did think about it, however not able to land it. A bit mistiming there, as Chingy might have even accelerated that taking there. I didn't quite see when he got back to the fight, but now Renegades with a Kraken to go into the base. 27 seconds on that gauntlet. It should be up by the time they enter the base and get towards the turrets, I should say.
Yeah, Guessing it's tried to use the blast tremor to steal Kraken or just to stop the ace buff, but that was wasted, not for another minute. This entire team fight, Renegades might even win the game before that blast tremor's back up, so that could be bad for BREN Esports. And now Renegades looking to push through in, gauntlet is up soon, Chingy going in.
Yeah, Blast Tremor would be a good ability to use in that choke point as Renegades push through, but now Tessaboy with the gauntlet back up once again. Another 18 seconds until Echo, however, but he might just use it early anyway. We'll see Chingy using Neverform Detonator early. Is quite low, but he's away from the danger at the moment, trying to just back around these turrets. There's the Echoed Gauntlet, and it's going to be big. And now we see Chingy might trade out with Mr. Jim, but going fairly low himself. There's going to be the Crystal. Doesn't even matter, as Renegades just with that team comp so focused on taking that down. And wow, they all stay alive at the end there as well. So I mean, bonus points there for Renegades as they make the Saw Arden Reza comp work out. Now, Minnie, how did you feel about how Renegades played that comp? Did you think there were a few, it was played to perfection, or were there some things they could have done better?
Well, Saw died 3 times, so it wasn't perfect. It wasn't a flawless game. They did lose a team fight in the end. Renegade Reza was forced to run away and port home. Saw died, and Arden was just trying to help Reza run away. But apart from that, it was pretty flawless. Saw does so well against Weapon Petal because they have almost identical playstyles, but Saw doesn't need to build attack speed to get a faster attack than Petal. Petal's all about that Saw Blade into many tornado triggers as you can fit on the screen, and jump in and burst someone down with like 3 basic attacks within the space of half a second. But the thing with Saw is he can build a Saw Blade and do, as long as he's got his stacks up, if he gets boosted in with the Vanguard, he can do 3 basic attacks in half a second just with those spin-up stacks. And so as soon as Saw got within range of within Petal or Celeste, they would just get deleted instantly. And if he didn't manage to get in range, Reza would go in, get the Aftershock procs, get a little burst himself. So the early game comps worked out really well, and it looked like that if BREN Esports managed to get to late game, they would do well, but they didn't manage to scale up.
Yeah, it was definitely a good comp that if they were able to hold out and get towards that late game. But I believe Renegades, by bursting down that anchor turret quite early into the match, that also opened up a big window of opportunity for them, that they only needed one Kraken, one certain Kraken to end it. And BREN Esports had that base already fairly open, so it would have been tough to do so anyway. One lost team fight, if they happen to gain the lead, one lost team fight after the fact would always turn it around. So I think Renegades overall did play back quite well. And yeah, just the Soul comp, OP.
Yeah, it was definitely that tier 3 turret was the crucial turning point. Once Saw got that tier 3 turret, he didn't have to do anything more before Kraken spawned. Just had to start the gold mine up to bait a fight, get some kills, get the gold mine, and then take Kraken. 15 minutes, and then just play it. It's pretty simple in the end to push that turret down with Saw. Saw wasn't focused down because Reza was being annoying, so they had to try and focus on kiting Reza. Saw was on the turrets. If Saw got within range, he would kill them. So that was really well played. It was brilliantly executed by Renegades. They showed the Saw, they played it properly. Great stutter stepping as well. That was really impressive to see how well the Saw could just, even without using boots, just run around, dodge as much as he could with the stutter stepping, and basically just kill everyone instantly. So the second draft is going to be really interesting to see whether Saw's going to be maybe banned. That's something we haven't seen anyone else do. But unless they have a counter for it, they tried with the Celeste. Unless they have a really good Saw counter, we might just see a ban on that Saw.
Yep, and with that, the second draft is ready. So without further ado, we will be jumping into that, and we will see what the teams decide to ban. This time we have that of BREN Esports on the blue side and Renegades over on the red. So prior to this match, we did see the Black Feather Vox ban fairly meta bans, and the surprising that Rhyme wasn't picked up instantly, because there's a fair bit of counterplay around it, and Rhyme was actually in a second ban spot for the side of BREN.
Yeah, I definitely think that Rhyme could be a higher priority in this game. Petal was picked up instead, and we're seeing the Reza ban instead. So they don't think Saw was the turning point, they think Xingyi on that Reza, a little bit too OP, so it's been banned away. That does make quite a bit of sense, because I've always said Reza is really good, one of the best heroes this patch, but other teams disagree with me. So Black Feather in return, by the way, that makes sense when you guys don't want to play against it. Now, what do you do against this Saw? Do you just pick the Ardent and then maybe let them get Lyra Saw, possibly an even stronger comp? It looks like that's what they're going to do. So, do you think Renegades are brave enough to pick it again, or will they just be countered?
I mean, they won the first match. They still have the chance to lose a match if the side of BREN Esports happen to counter it out. So why not pick up the Saw comp again? It works so well, and Renegades being one of those teams that just naturally we know them for. They are going to go the Lyra pick as a start, so this could suggest they might consider Saw as a second pick, looking towards what the bans might be. But Renegades, as I said, being naturally a good team at getting objectives off the back of fights, it makes it so much more worth when they have a Saw on their team, and it's a lot easier to do so. They're going to ban out the Petal that was picked up by the side of BREN Esports previously. We know how much they like to play that weapon power Petal on BREN Esports, and it was one of the comps that really took them down when they previously went up against BREN Esports in earlier series. So we do see that it's now in the side of, okay, I was going to say in the hands of BREN Esports to whether they think that Saw ban is viable or not. And there's still a lot on the table in terms of strong heroes. We got for this current meta, we got the Vox, the Rhyme, I'd say probably even the Saw.
Yeah, I definitely think it's not a meta hero, but it could be picked up. Rhyme instead is going to be taken, so they're going to go for that much confident hero. They're going to go much more consistent and meta hero. So Saw's still available. That's Rhyme. That's a jungler. They haven't picked their laner, and I think they're going to wait to see what is going to be picked up by the side of BREN Esports, if it's countered by Saw or if it counters Saw. So BREN Esports got a tough draft to think of here.
Now, the comp on the side of Renegades so far would actually work really well along the side of a Saw. You have the Rhyme who can just run in, and if he's able to land the Winter Spire into Chilled Winds, you get instant root, and that's going to help Saw pick up those kills. And what was a bit more along my thinking when I thought about the Saw comp previously, when we saw it picked up in the game before, that with the Reza pickup last, I was thinking maybe we would have seen a CP jungler that had a bit of CC in that kit. And now the Vox pick, you know, fairly meta on both sides, I'd say, through this draft. And the Vox Arden just going to work well. They can really go with any jungler, possibly a Sky, yeah, to really counter that Rhyme, trying to keep a distance there. But now how do you think they will go about this? I don't think Saw plays too well into Sky, just because if they get the target lock off, the death from above is quite easy to hit.
Yeah, and Sky will not be killed by Saw very quickly. She can dance around the fight, keep at range with those Saw barrages. But on the contrary, Saw is really good against Vox. Vox and Saw have very similar ranges. So if Vox is in basic attack range, so probably is Saw. And so they could go for that as a last pick. I definitely think Kestrel would be a fine last pick against the Vox. Would work really well, works well with Rhyme. I think that makes much more sense for them. They just had the Saw as they just hang it over the heads of BREN Esports, made it like, if you don't do your draft against it, We're just going to last pick it. We're going to do exactly the same as the last game and win before before 20 minutes. Make sure it's only one Kraken. I don't think they're going to pick that. I think Kestrel makes a lot more sense. Maybe even a Duel. We've seen some off-meta stuff, but they're going to go Baron. So they're going the complete opposite win condition. Renegades want late game.
Well, I was actually expecting either, as you said, the Kestrel or that of a Ringo could work out with the slow on the Achilles shot, just helping to work into their comp overall. But the Baron pickup isn't too bad along the side of Lyra, because Baron is quite, I guess, stationary a lot of the time, other than when he uses his jump jets. So in that situation, it's not such a bad pick into that draft, and as you said, going towards that late game. However, the Vox and Sky are also trying to fight towards that play, so it's really going to be able to go down to who gets a good transition into the mid game and starts getting those objectives early.
Yeah, I definitely think that it's a very immobile comp from Renegades. They've got Baron so slow, Rhyme has no gap closers, he's slow, and Lyra trying to boost that mobility up, because up against Vox Sky, that's an extremely mobile comp. They can just dance around the fight, run away, Arden give them a Vanguard to keep their movement speed up. So it's going to be tough for Rhyme to stay on top of anyone, but the comp that they're going for is we're going to be basically a cannon. We're going to be stationary, we're going to be waiting, and we're just going to stay still, and you're going to come to us, then we're going to kill you. Baron's got quite a long range, so he can do that. Rhyme can try and boots in on Sky and root her, which can work, but it's really tough. If that route gets blocked, Rhyme's going to get kited away and bursted. So there's definitely a really good draft from BREN Esports. They have a good chance in this game if they manage to get that mid-game power spike, start winning the game from there, and in their fights, kind of keep their distance and manage to run around the members of Renegades. But it's going to be tough for them.
Yes, it will be tough indeed, but we are loading into the Halcyon Fold for the second match between BREN Esports and Renegades. So let us know in the chat which team you guys are cheering for. Give them your hype, your love, all that good stuff. And with that, do you have a preferred team for this matchup, Mini?
I think BREN Esports definitely look like they could turn this around and bring it to 1-0, but if they allow this game to go too far, then it will be pretty simple for Renegades on this Baron. He's going to be pretty glass cannon up until maybe 20 minutes in, and at that point he's going to be able to do a bit of defense on Sky. But I think Uni will be tough to take down. He's got that flower dye Baron skin. I think he'll be tough to take down late game, but early game it will be pretty simple. You bait the jump jets with Vox, Sky comes in, going to get a lovely forward barrage with target lock, but we're just going to have to wait and see. So BREN Esports starting up this Elder Treant, looking like they want to fight.
Yep, everyone with their level 2s except for Romas, and we see an aggressive start by Chingy. Need to be careful with his energy management, however, but is trying to pull the enemy of BREN Esports towards the rest of his team, as we see Uni putting down a fair bit of damage already early, but Mr. Jim going to take the opportunity to jump onto that backline, trying to do something here, guessing, getting caught up in the Porcupine Mortar. Bit slow and just a lob poke from both of these teams early on, but looks like Renegades really looking to be the ones to secure this first objective. They might get taken out first, however, as Sky able to pick up the kill onto that of Lyra. I believe Chingy was the one to get the Elder Treant, and now going to be able to pick up a return kill, and Mr. Jim might fall as well, but no, Uni not quite able to reach him, just out of auto attack range, and Chingy also going to steal away some front camp. So a fairly, I guess, long early game team fight there, just trying to get the Elder Treant.
Yeah, now for no reason at all, Renegades minions are pushing into the side of BREN Esports, so that means once again, both laners and junglers just farming together. So this wave in lane is massive for Vox. Uni is on 0 CS 2 minutes in, and he's going to stay on 0 for another minute. No minions are going to be there. Guessing X is going to take about half health damage from these minions while Mr. Jim tries to farm up as much as he can. He's going to get maybe 15 CS from that wave alone. Wait, no, Guessing X took one of them. So now Uni's going to try and get as much as he can, but that wave's just massively pushed, which is a real problem for Renegade. They are going to be behind on CS. They lost the first kill, so really going to be behind in gold in this game. But Uni instead is going to go for the damage onto Vox. He's taking minion shots because the resonance bouncers are hitting onto Baron. So Uni is going to do damage. He's going to boost in, but he's going to have to run away, and jump jets away as well. So Wave is now equalised. Vox did get a bit ahead of CS compared to Baron, about 10, but it's only about 500 gold lead, and Sky could be in a bit of trouble. Shingy's going to try and chase him down.
Yeah, Sync1 actually trying to contest for that outer tree and was able to steal it, and great use of the Suri Strike. Good movement there, is going to meet up with Guessing X and even try steal a bit more farm. Not sure if they're able to. No, it's going to go over to Tezza Boy on that Lyra, making sure it doesn't go over to the side of BREN Esports. And right now, Mr. Jim just able to farm up so much, sitting on 22 CS. Meanwhile, Uni sitting back only at 4 CS is going to be able to get some of this farm under turret. However, it's just such a lead for the side of BREN Esports, and Rhyme going deep into the enemy jungle finds Sky. And this is really how Rhyme can bully out Sky and make sure that Sky doesn't become a problem later. Just always constantly in the early game being in Sky's jungle. They're going to win the 1v1 if they have the jump on them, if they can land the Winter Spires into the root, and, well, I should say into the Chill Winds to get the root off. And yeah, meanwhile, we do see lane being pushed back up by Renegades, so they're not there with the farm. Uni at 19 and Mr. Jim still so far ahead. Both laners behind the 10 CS per minute mark because of the early game team fights they went into, but I do think Mr. Jim, luckily having the upper hand in this fight, could help them out with the transition into mid game.
Yeah, if you actually look at the CS difference, it's slightly ahead for Renegades because of Rhyme. He's so far ahead of guys. He's only level 6.
I only looked at Chiggy just then, as you mentioned, that seeing at 33 CS over to 13 on Sync 1, so there's a lot of imbalances here between the junglers and the laners for each side. RNG having their jungler, of course, Rhyme being so much ahead of Sky, but meanwhile their laner is Uni should be alright, or as he's saying under the turret there, Lyra is going to come up to heal them with the Imperial Sigil, and we do see Chingy with that rotation as well, just making sure they don't get jumped on too much, trying to keep a hold of Uni, keep him in this game. But right now, Sky getting half their farm stolen away from them must be quite tough as well. Tezboy caught out in that bush, should be able to get back.
Yeah, the gold lead isn't massive, but the experience lead is. Shingy 2 levels ahead of Sky pretty consistently. He's going to come up to lane and will probably win this fight against the Sky, even though Vox is level 6, he's low on energy.
Yep, and we do see Chingy just walking straight into that forward barrage, not really caring for it, even though Sync 1 picking up the Dragon's Eye as the first item, as opposed to, say, a Frostburn or even an Eve going for that Dragon's Eye, just trying to get the damage instantly. However, Chingy, if they're able to get the speed boost, and this is something you mentioned, that the team of Renegades, although it's quite stationary with that Lyra there, I was only thinking about the healing benefits with the Imperial Sigil, but you brought up a good point that there's a lot of mobility and utility there with the speed boost. We see Uni almost taking down Guessing, but almost getting taken down himself. There's going to be the wait for it coming out by Mr. Jim, making sure they can't do anything else. But Ion Cannon drops, and Guessing taken fairly low. Renegades rotating down to where Chingy was just soloing that gold mine, going to take an early 298 gold, I believe it was, and be able to get back to this turret in time before it takes too much damage.
Yep, nice goal power. Rhyme!
Wow. Rhyme going in, there's the Valkyrie onto the backline. He got a massive chill wins as he actually rooted out Mr. Jim and Sync 1 in there, but they don't catch out anyone from this. Guessing, even solo, is going to fall to that Winter Spire, so I do take it back. They're now going to put a lot of pressure onto this lane turret. Might be able to take it as well. There's the Arcane Passage in, and they take them down so easily, and this is just another factor of the Lyra kit that provides into the mobility. That Arcane Passage, Sky was not ready for it, or got caught out, taken down so quickly because Rhyme was able to go through with it. And now we do see Mr. Jim making sure that Renegades don't get too much ahead of himself, but it looks like they should still be able to steal away half of that jungle away from Sky once again, and pushing that gold lead that much further.
Mr. Jim, though, did get the backs away from Shingy. He did know because the sentry gave vision. So now Renegades want to fight again. Mr. Jim is in the bush. Shingy could be going for a bit of aggression. But the CS is now coming about even between the two teams. We've got a combination of about 95 CS for Renegades and very similar, in fact slightly ahead, for BREN Esports, they're up to 97. So yeah, almost dead even on the CS between these two teams. So no, 107 actually for BREN Esports. So despite being behind in kills, they are farming really well because Uni's just having a tough time in this lane. And the amount that Shingy's ahead isn't that much, but there's a lovely ultimate from Arden.
Yep, he does use... Oh, but he's going to get caught out on that Valkyrie. And now we see Sync 1 being the target. Might not be able to escape as Chingy takes him down, but Bright Bulwark doing a lot of work as well. And Chingy chasing down Mr. Jim. Not sure if he's going to be able to find the kill here as Mr. Jim has Sonic Zoom up, but use Resonance instead. A bit of an odd choice, is going to get out anyway. But Chingy on the pursuit, looking for something. Could catch out Guessing here, and he's going to try get anything out of it. Guessing probably too tanky to take down at this point. And that gold lead for the side of Renegades, although being behind in CS overall, was probably due to the fact that Renegades get the early turret. They also managed to get that gold mine previously, and just, yeah, maybe I would say the jungle camps might be worth more gold.
Yeah, the jungle camps are worth more gold, but every 40 gold you get is 1 CS. So as you get more gold in the jungle, the CS does equalise. So it is a very useful metric to see how far ahead in gold teams are. But as you said, a 10 CS lead isn't that much considering a gold mine and turret went down for Renegades. So now Renegades trying to push this wave up. Rhyme's coming up to lane. Has got Journey Boots. Passage.
Yep, and there's going to be the death from above at the end of the passage, putting Tezaboy fairly low, but Chingy is still hard in the pursuit. Might have to back out, however. There's a lot of damage being dealt out from the side of BREN Esports. Uni going low, Tezaboy as well. Chingy still up in that front line, and there's going to be the Ion Cannon. Doesn't really do much to Mr. Jim as he just shakes it off, continuing to push up. Game those resonance bounces as well. Does not have the breaking point yet. It would have been so helpful in a drawn out fight like this, but there's going to be the gauntlet, and it's going to secure the kill onto Tezaboy. Chingy going fairly low. Good use of the death from above to zone out Uni on that backline, but BREN Esports still yet to take an objective.
Yeah, they really can't push that much against this Baron and the Rhyme. They're going to just rotate down to shot because both carries are low. Low on energy as well. So Arden really unable to do much. The gauntlets though have been so massive. The Crucible from Tezaboy hasn't been used that effectively because Baron's kind of been stuck inside the gauntlet. The Crucible comes through and Baron doesn't walk out. He's now overdriven his jump jets, which will really help him try and not get caught out. But I think it was in the team fight before that, Baron got a Crucible but stayed inside the gauntlet, so not the best coordination. And Baron without a block is relying on that Crucible to get out of this second gauntlet. He could jump jet out of the first, but he can't jump jet out 2 gauntlets simultaneously, so he's forced to rely on that Crucible and good timing from Tezaboy.
Yep, and we do see that the lane being pushed up quite a bit by BREN Esports, but no real follow-up with it, and they have no vision on this gold mine. There's going to be the flare, just instincts by Guessing, seeing that Uni wasn't up in lane, and now there will be a contest over this. They're going to try and take it. There's the Bright Bulwark, and they're being pushed out. The death from above used, and there's going to be the wait for it as well, silencing out that of Tezaboy, but Chingy's so strong up in this front line, able to help take down that of Sky, who got caught up. There's going to be the Arcane Passage. Chingy coming through behind it, should be up to lock down Mr. Jim. They get the kill, and now leaving Guessing on his own. They are going to turn their attention right back to Gold Mine. So what looked like Renegades actually losing out that fight with the initial engagement was more or less them game baited in, or baiting the side of BREN Esports in, and then Chingy just being able to lock down targets.
Yeah, definitely. That was a nice fight from Renegades. They just the gold mine up to force a fight, drop the gold mine, and then Ryan managed to boots in, get so much work done on Mr. Jim and Sync 1, and then Baron just came through, jump jets in, double shot securing Mr. Jim, double shot basically securing Sync 1, and Chingy doing so well, 6 kills and 0 deaths. Renegades looking like they're going to be able to snowball this into late game. They don't need to keep fighting. They're doing well. But they're not in the same position as they were last game, where right now they'd have to try and get that tier 2 turret or else they're going to start falling off. If they just keep farming, keep rotating together, don't get caught out, when gold mine's full, take it, when sentries are available, take it, and then just let themselves scale to late game, because if they get caught out and then the fight goes in favour of BREN Esports, then Baron might be able to not be farm, but there's going to be a fight going out.
And we do see the Ion Cannon being used, but there's going to be the Gauntlet, catches out Sigil just too late, not going to save him. Death from above catches out Chingy, and Sync 1 trying to do what they can to back off, but they're going to use the Arcane Passage to get away. So right now, Renegades deciding they do not want to continue that fight, but 2v3, and BREN Esports could very likely get this initial turret back from them. Mr. Jim fairly low, however, just baiting out Chingy, who's going to go low himself, trying to go on the engage, not able to find those Winter Spires needed to keep his fortified health up. And there's going to be the Imperial Sigil. Now we see Uni rejoining back in the fight, but they won't be able to chase down the side of BREN Esports, as we saw just a great gauntlet to open that fight coming out from Guessing.
Yeah, the first gauntlet, not the best. It didn't actually catch any of the members of Renegade. They were all outside. But that second gauntlet, getting Baron on that interior wall, really well positioned and well positioned on the gauntlet from Arden. But yeah, Uni, he hasn't got a block. He relies on that Crucible to get out the gauntlets. And so that's really tough for Renegades to do. I think Uni needs to get a reflex block over Healing Flask. I think the smart play for him now is sell that Healing Flask. We're already 30 minutes in. It's not that useful. Get yourself a block so you can walk out the gauntlet. But now he wants a Blazing Salvo because he wants attack speed. He wants that Tornado trigger. Uni going very risky on this Baron, but will it pay off in this team fight if he gets the poke first?
We'll have to see. Arcane Passage is up, and they're going to use it again, and Uni just using his jump jets is good enough as he gets close enough and gets the extra shot off with the auto attack. So much damage going down onto Guessing. Uni with the Tension Bow Sorrow Blade and Tyrant's Monocle build, just going for straight burst, no stacking in this, and it's similar in Mr. Jim's comp. He hasn't decided to go for stacking either, just focusing on that burst. But do you think maybe Mr. Jim would have been better off to focus on stacking? Because earlier in the mid-game, these team fights were lasting a bit longer, and we've seen them just start to swing so much in favor of Renegades, more or less.
Yeah, I am surprised that Mr. Jim's gone for the 3 crit items, gone for 100% crit chance as opposed to a breaking point. Because it seems like an obvious answer against the Rhyme to go breaking point. Rhyme's going to stack up his fortified health. You stack up your breaking point, then you go on to Uni. But the gauntlet can come down. It is blocked by Uni. Echo is available, but so is the Crucible.
Does catch out Chingy, and there's going to be the second gauntlet catching out Uni. But as you mentioned, Uni no real reason to run, does use the jump jets as it's overdrive. He's going to block out the stuns to get out there. So gauntlet not too good against Uni or against this Baron pickup, because he really can just stand there in the late game and use the jump jets to get out. There's going to be Tezzaboy going in with the Arcane Passage into Bright Bulwark. They're trying to catch out Sync 1 here. Chingy body blocking before Barrage. They're able to pick up a kill. They'll be able to get the Crystal Sentry as well. They haven't actually focused that this match, but you know, any objective really going to help them out here. They're about 5k ahead, seeing at 36.2k, over to 1.9, and the rest of BREN Esports trying to just get an eye on this Kraken, have a look, but they're going into a 2v3 situation. It could be dangerous. Chingy just being the one to run out in the front, and wow, Uni going to burst down the box. Barely any defense on Mr. Jim, however, only seeing on that light armor, and they're going to turn their attention back to this Kraken. So I think for both carries it's that kind of situation, but the mobility that Baron has with jump jets and provided by that of Lyra assisting them is just so much more than the Vanguard into Sonic Zoom, as we saw Chingy initially force those kind of items out by just running up into Vox's face and making them kind of panic attack.
Yeah, Uni so much damage. He's going for the 5 red items, 5 damage items, and it's a risky build, but when it works, we're going to see how it works. He's jump jets on a quite a short cooldown sentry, going to be poked out a little bit, but they're waiting for this Kraken. Once Kraken gets within range, Uni will jump jets towards the turret. Arden will probably gauntlet. There's the Iron Cannon, and what we're going to see, who's going to go for the first fight? Will it engage? Will it be Uni or will it be Guessing X? Uni's going to jump in.
And Sync 1 putting that death from above on the backline, just keeping Chingy away off this turret, but the damage going down onto Mr. Jim. Mr. Jim really can't find the fight there they want unless Guessing's able to stun out Uni. He's going to go in with a second gauntlet. Wild Time did stun him, but Uni up to get to the outside of the base now, just waiting to get back in as Chingy on his own with Tezzaboy in there is going to fall to that of Vox, because we got to remember Mr. Jim does have quite a lot of damage, although not stacking a lot of burst, and with targets like Rhyme, which you can just dance around, especially when he's not your target or when he's not targeting you, they're able to put out a lot of damage and take down that Kraken fairly quickly. They lost 2 turrets there in the engage, or I believe 1, with the Vein Crystal, and they're now going to have a chance to push back against this team comp.
Yeah, Renegades, unlike the first game, not able to win with just the first Kraken. So unlike the first game, they don't need to win with Kraken. They can just wait. They can scale up later into the game. Baron's now got 5 damage items, waiting to reinfuse, and that Baron is not going to be focused because you just can't. Mr. Jim's got himself a full metal jacket, but Baron with the Tension Bow Soul Blade triple crit items is going to be a monster to try and deal with. The back door is an option. There is no vision for the side of BREN Esports. Guessing X did not pick up any scout traps. So if Baron gets anywhere near that turret, it's going to go down. The Vein Crystal will shortly follow. And if Tezzaboy and Uni are trying to chase and stop the back ports, it will be pretty simple for Renegades to win that way. Although I don't really feel any need for them to do so, because they are winning the fights. There's no need for them to try a risky maneuver. But Uni is not infused. All other members of the fold are. Uni wanted Journey Boost instead, so BREN Esports is going to fight now.
Mr. Jim on that front line. There's going to be the initial gauntlet. Echo was used, so it's up once again if they need it. And there's going to be the second gauntlet, stunning out Tezzaboy and Uni jumping out there. Chiggy actually running in, going through the arcane passage now. A bit of miscommunication all in all for the side of Renegades. Not too sure what they want to do, but they have burnt out those gauntlets. And now if they're able to regroup with the Imperial Sigil, should be a bit of an easier fight. Only Tezzaboy really the one that took a lot of damage for the side of Renegades, and if they keep this map advantage, they can really just push for Kraken and burn that down quickly if they want to. So really it's all in the hands of Renegades as we look towards what could be the final fight.
Yeah, they could Kraken, or they could just portal over the wall and backdoor. That's available for them. All 3 members can get over that wall with the portal. Yeah, Renegades, they can just start this Kraken, look for a fight if they decide to if BREN Esports decide to contest this. Shingy can tank that Kraken pretty safely, and there is Baron waiting to go in. Portal, there we go.
There's the arcane passage, and wow, Sync 1 taking so much damage on that backline. Iron Cannon did go out as well. It's going to hit on Sync 1, but there's going to be the fountain for the side BREN Esports as they take down that Baron. Fairly squishy when he's not able to land the damage instantly, and there's going to be the turnaround for BREN Esports. They take down Lyra as well. Chingy, the last one left standing. They're going to just work on this Kraken. Whether Chingy decides to go into the base, I don't think he could do that alone. So instead of sticking around for a possible Kraken steal, he doesn't want the chance to give over an ace, and is just going to go back to the base, wait for his team to respawn at 20 seconds on Uni and 25 on Tezzaboy. So playing it safe there. And BREN Esports, as I said, have a chance to really go back into this game. Now, minimizing that gold lead that was initially there, and for kills, seeing 8 to 10 kills, but 42.1 gold over to 45.4, where we really thought that the side of Renegades, at least with how they were playing, would be a lot further ahead. And now we see BREN Esports working on this initial turret. They are going to be up to take it down, moving their way onto the anchor turret. And in the draft, I did talk about BREN Esports. They also have a good late game comp, but there's going to be the engage coming out from that, I'm guessing, with the gauntlet once again. It's just going to provide a very easy, quick anchor turret, and they're going to stun out Chingy, but no real follow-up on that. So they've managed to push Kraken into the base, fairly full health, but we can see how quickly Renegades are burning that down. Vox going to be the target, gets taken down by Uni, did have the help of his team. Guessing just able to dodge out the Valkyrie with the Vanguard to jump to Sync 1, but now Sync 1 the only source of damage for the side of BREN Esports, and with this Kraken being up, Renegades will probably be up to win the game. As you said, they are going to make sure this Kraken doesn't continue pushing down onto their base, and then turn their attention to that of... Oh, they don't even finish it. They're leaving it to the turret and the minions. It should
Kraken
fall.
will die definitely. Even if Kraken gets the turret, it will die to the turret explosion, so they're not to lose the game.
Time to run into BREN Esports space. 15 seconds on Mr. Jim is playing it risky, although 23 seconds on that of Arden. I think that Renegades might have to rethink their strategy, or they're still going to go in.
They go for the back door. They're going to go for the back door. Yeah, that's smart.
Getting ready for the arcane passage. But you think they might just wait until they see the side of BREN Esports go out?
100%. If Arden doesn't flare there, Mr. Jim knows. They left the Kraken, so the Kraken didn't get the turret. If you go look at that turret, it is ridiculously low. We can't look at that turret for too long. They get caught out. That's smart. Yeah, Guessing X knew what was going on. They knew what they saw Renegades try and push for the win, and then they didn't, and so they would have expected the backdoor. It still can happen. but Arden is being much better with vision now. He's aware that that's happening. He doesn't have scout traps, but he's constantly flaring to make sure it doesn't happen. Shingy, look at that build. Journey boots and tier 2 travel boots. He's going for just run. Going to get water treads as well. And Uni doesn't need to port. He's fully built. There's no reason for Uni to
However,
try
Vox
anything.
is running towards the base, and Renegades know that. They're trying to back off. He does force the side of Renegades to pull that back, because Vox also quite bursty himself. Could have been able to get the rest of that turret, but just baiting the team of Renegades back. So such a close game here between the side of BREN Esports and Renegades. And especially after that first game, which was so one-sided because of the Saw comp, we didn't really get to see BREN Esports' potential, but we get to see it now in this third match. Are they able to go through with the comeback as we see
out of position. Arden's out of position massively. Look at it.
He is out of
guessing
position.
X. Where is he?
And he gets caught out. He's going to use his boots. Is able to vanguard over that wall, luckily. So regrouping with his team. I was thinking maybe he'd look for a surprise gauntlet. But right now, RNG just probably going to wait. They could take this Crystal Sentry, making sure the enemy team has no vision in their own jungle. But instead, they're moving their way towards that lane. They're seeing the Mustache Rush. There's going to be the Arcane Passage in. The Bright Bulwark to follow through. A lot of damage going down to Mr. Jim, but it's not going to be enough. And guessing going to be the target. Death from above catches out Chingy, but it's not going to stun him up completely. The Gauntlet will, and Vox will die in his last effort to try put down some damage. Sync 1 going to be next with ease, and the Renegades have definitely won this game, unless Sky can pull off some amazing 1v3.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. Double shot from Baron. Forces this guy back into the base. Going to try, but you don't care. He takes the Vein Crystal down. Vein Crystal turret down, and that's the next target. Uni might die to this guy, but the Vein Crystal's gone. The game has gone over to Renegades in the end. What a close fight to finish. I was really surprised because it looked like I thought the Renegades were going to win this game pretty easily. They had the Baron, they were winning the mid game, they were snowballing to late game, but then one team fight where Mr. Jim was hiding in a bush, he ran out of the bush, jumped onto Uni, killed the Baron so quickly, and once Baron died, Shingy had nothing. Shingy wasn't going to win that fight. So I liked the burst build from Mr. Jim. It was necessary because their win condition was if we kill Baron, we win the fight. And if we don't kill the Baron, then we're not going to win the fight. So it was that simple for them. So he had to go for burst. He did. One fight they killed Baron, the rest of the fights they didn't. And